in Asia, in the South Pacific. If China fulfills her word, that if Taiwan goes independent, China will attack Taiwan, the neoconservatives are saying to the president, you must uphold your word to defend Taiwan. Then American soldiers will be sent to Asia to fight. You're drawing away your troops from Eastern Europe. And now Homeland Security is weak because the National Guard is supposed to protect the nation. But the National Guard are now in Iraq. You're spread out all over the world. So now you have 12 million undocumented aliens. You want them to give their names. Is it so that, like ancient Rome, you may use those who have no benefit to fight for America to gain their citizenship? Will you advance a draft next year to draft American children to fight and die for neoconservative aims? Well, if you do, American soldiers will be going away to fight by the tens of thousands, but they will come back to America by the fives and tens. These are the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You will not win another war. God has set his hand against you. America is a preserved area. No foreign enemy will destroy this country. This country was made like Pharaoh and Egypt for God himself to make himself known. Please don't force God to destroy you. And how you handle me will determine how long you live. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
The letters that Minister Louis Farrakhan mentioned in his press conference and all of the documents that he presented in his address, you can go to www.finalcall.com on the internet for all of those valuable documents and information, and both the letters that Minister Farrakhan wrote to President Bush. At this time, we ask the members of the press who have questions. Minister Farrakhan at this time will take questions from the press, and we ask those members of the press if you will stand, state your name and affiliation, and Minister Farrakhan will answer questions. Thank you. Members of the press? Yes, sir?
George Curry, NFPA News Service. Minister, several times you mentioned your letters to President Bush. You asked him to re-examine policies that are unfair or unjust. Could you be more specific about those exact policies?
Policies that interfere in a sovereign nation's right to find its own course and develop its own raw materials. Policies that degrade the price of commodities of third world countries, that disallow those countries to put their products on the world market and get a fair exchange that would allow them to improve the quality of life of their citizens. Policies that target leaders that will not lead in the way of the interests of the multinational corporations. Therefore, these leaders, though democratically elected, are insufficient for America. So America, through the CIA, works to undermine those leaders to make a puppet regime in that country that will open the doors of that country and its raw materials to be raped by the companies of the United States of America. It is those kind of policies that make the world hate America. It is those kinds of unjust policies that will not allow the Caribbean to bring their bananas to this market. It is those kind of policies that suppress the economic potential development of smaller countries. America does not have to do this to exist, but greed, driving foreign policy, is destroying this nation and its future. Those are the kinds of policies that I'm talking about, policies that led to the killing of Patrice Lumumba, policies that led to the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah, policies that led to the assassination of black presidents on the African continent that were leading on behalf of their people, policies that disallowed $500 million to go to to Haiti, so that Aristide could fulfill promises to the Haitian people, policies that disallowed President Mandela to fulfill his promise to the African people, to lead them out of the condition that they were in, policies that promise and fail to deliver. These are the policies that America must look at seriously to become a serious friend of the peoples of the world. Thank you.
Urban Radio Networks. You say in your speech that America is on a course that is difficult for her to change. And it seems at this time America, particularly Black America, has to choose between a lesser of two evils, in your opinion. Where would you go at this point right now as far as the election? If the election were held today, who would you choose?
I would choose neither if it were up to me. But our people are I would say, sold to the Democratic Party. As a result of that, the Democratic Party owes us something, and we should demand it. Listen to me carefully. I listened to the words of Senator Kerry. He's the flip side of the coin of President Bush. You will not find real change that will benefit the masses of Black people. And unfortunately, President Bush has led this nation into Iraq, and it will be nearly impossible to extricate ourselves from Iraq, according to Senator Kerry. Listen to his words. We have to stay the course. We cannot cut and run. Why not? Because if you do, the image of America will be devastated throughout the world. So you got to stay. To do what? To make a democracy in Iraq? I heard the senator's speech in Westminster at the college. He wants NATO to come in to take the position of America so that 20,000 American soldiers can be relieved and come home. Isn't that nice? I remember once I was a calypso singer, and Harry Belafonte was in the Broadway show Almanac, and he had to go to Hollywood to make the movie Carmen Jones, so they were asking for those who would audition for his role. I was one of those who auditioned, didn't get the role, but if I had gotten the role, I would have to walk in his shoes and play his part. Do you think NATO wants to walk in America's shoes and play her part as an occupying force? Do you think that NATO is stupid when your arrogance said you could go it alone. You didn't need the United Nations. Now that you're in there with your foot caught in a bear trap, you're looking for help everywhere. You retreat in Fallujah because you don't want more body bags coming back to America to disturb the political landscape. You prefer to fly and bomb rather than stay on the ground and fight and die, because you're not fighting for something real, but those people are fighting for something real, the liberation of their land from occupation.
Representing the Real Hip Hop Network. Minister Farrakhan, how would you suggest that the America's youth, or the hip hop generation, educate ourselves and respond to the issues that you addressed today, as well as the draft? And a second part of the question is, how do you see hip hop and its generation playing into your mission, as well as America in this time of history?
Our brother Russell Simmons and the hip hop community has been into several cities inviting our youth to register and vote. That vote is important. That vote is potential power. But our young people will be like a child with candy in his hand that the bully can come and take. Because voter registration must be followed by voter education. You must know who it is you're voting for and why you're voting for them. And you never vote for anyone or anything that's not in your self-interest. And unfortunately, most of us do not know where our self-interest lies. That's why we vote for one white person to defeat another. But the one that we vote for that gets into office, after he gets into office, very few favors come to the people who voted him into office. We've got to stop this. Yes, hip hop is powerful. I'm proud of my little brothers and sisters and the power that they wield throughout the earth. I would love, and I would say this, they can't do it on their own. Somebody has to teach these brilliant leaders. That's what they are, leaders. But if you teach them and put the right thought in their heads, like President Bush was formed for the idea of the neocons, the youth are formed for the idea of liberation. And so once the youth come in contact with the right idea, then their raps will reflect that. And they will move youth all over the world and take them away from elites who want to use young people to fight and die for that which is not in their best interest. I want to see these young people live. I don't want to see them in a draft. And I will fight no matter what it costs to me to make sure that these young Americans will not be misused in their patriotic zeal to defend this great country. You will not use them anymore. As long as I have a voice in America, you will not misuse these young people whose bodies are coming back draped in flags, whose families are grieving. And all we can say is we thank them for making this great sacrifice for the neocon idea. If they knew this, every parent would hold their child. It is not wrong to defend your nation, but it is wrong for your zeal to be used to defend interests that are not vital to you. Thank you.
Mr. Farrakhan, I'm Rim Tadkhuda with WPFW 89.3 FM.
Yes.
What are, besides reparation, points that you recommend be put on John Kerry's platform before people give him their vote? And how many people are in the Nation of Islam? And what do you recommend for the individuals to do economically or any other means to ensure that this platform that you recommend and other things